Pokemon fans, Tamashii here. A couple weeks ago, I had the pleasure of attending the Pokémon World Championships in Boston. If you guys don't know what the Pokémon World Championships are, it's a, it's a worldwide competition for the Pokemon video game and the trading card game. People compete at regional, then national, and then world levels for that one coveted Pikachu trophy. I mean, people play all year round just for this moment, and it's pretty exciting to go. I just went to spectate because even if you're not competing, it's a really cool thing just to go there, because it's kind of like the Pokemon world becomes real for a weekend. People are all there, they're cheering, there's a giant audience. And there's also a few other things to do. There are side events if you don't qualify for the main event. I saw a little girl who had won a side event and had a giant Pikachu plush that was bigger than her. That was pretty cool. So for those of you that have never gone or couldn't go and wanted to go or just want to know what it's like, I thought I would try and vlog the experience to bring a little bit of it home for you guys to enjoy and to take part in, because it's just such a cool thing to go to. It's almost like just going to the Indigo Plateau to watch them crown a new Pokemon champion. It's basically that. And there's like, I want to say there was like over $1 million in scholarship prizes this year, so that's really cool. I mean, I might be exaggerating, I don't remember the actual number, but it was a lot of money, and I think it's really cool that Pokemon is helping kids with their education like that and giving parents some incentive to let their kids play the games. This is my first year that I've attended. For a couple years now, they've streamed it on Twitch TV/Pokemon, and that's always been really fun to watch, and it just makes me want to go in person. So this is my first time going in person. It was really stressful for me because I don't usually travel all by myself, and I could only afford to send myself, but it ended up being great, so I'm glad that I pushed myself to go because it was absolutely worth it. So on day one, I get there, I'm basically a walking zombie because prior to getting to sleep that night, I had been up for 48 hours straight traveling, so that wasn't fun, and I wasn't at 100%, but I wasn't gonna let that stop me. I got down there, I was looking to meet a couple of my friends who were also going, and I was kind of wandering around the venue just trying to find them, and first thing I do, I'm walking out of the convention center and there's Masuda. Junichi Masuda was walking in right as I was walking out. He's the director of all the main series Pokemon games from Gen 3 on, and even before that he worked on the games as a composer, and he's still the composer, so he's basically the face of Game Freak. He is not the only person who's important to making the games, but he's the one that everybody really knows, and he's always doing interviews, and the Masuda method is named after him for a reason, so he's a really important person in my own life just because I'm a giant Pokemon fan. So one of the things I really wanted to do going to Worlds was get to see him, and literally the first thing I do in the convention center, Worlds hasn't even started yet, is I walk out the door, there's Masuda. So at that point, I just kind of like, I make eye contact with him and I bow a little bit, and he nods his head back, so I'm like fangirling, I'm like, oh my god, Masuda. And so I head outside and I find my friends, and then we get to go into the center. There were meticulous bag checks, which I'm, in hindsight, very happy about. And then as soon as we get inside, it's time for the opening ceremonies. So the opening ceremonies, it was like a big, giant, loud production with lots of lights and cool effects, and the giant stage and all of the decorations to make it look kind of like a ship's deck. That was pretty cool. And first thing, Shady Penguin comes out and introduces the whole tournament, and that's pretty cool. Then Sunikazu Ishihara comes out, who, if you don't know, is the president of the Pokemon Company, and as soon as he starts out by saying, sometimes at Worlds there are big announcements, and as soon as I hear him say onaji, which means the same in Japanese, I know there's going to be another announcement this year, and I'm getting hyped, I don't know what it is, and on the giant monitor right up above me, there's a video playing of Pokken, and I think, oh cool, they're gonna announce something big for Pokken, and then there's the Wii U logo, and I just got a little bit chills because, I mean, it's not that big an announcement. Everybody was hoping for something a little bit bigger, even though I knew they probably wouldn't do something crazy. that was a little bit more than I was expecting, and it was kind of cool to be there to when they announce it for the very first time, because I've never gotten to do anything like that. I've never gone to E3 or anything, so that was like a really fun thing and just kind of like took my breath away. And then the Lucha Pikachu appeared on the screen, and that was really fun. And then they announced that they have Pokken here at Worlds and that we would all get to play it, and that just blew my mind because I was not expecting to get to play Pokken until, I don't know, maybe another year. So that was a really cool surprise. After the opening ceremony is over, I go to the press booth pickup thing to go get my media pass, and while I'm waiting over there for them to bring out the passes, I get a message on my phone from Renee, one of my friends, and she says, "Masuda's over here by the press curtain," and I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't know if I was gonna make it in time because they were taking a little bit long getting out the press passes, but as soon as I got mine, I bolted over there. I caught up with Renee and Josh, who you might know as the Witzes, and I talked to them a little bit, and with a little bit of self-pumping up, I got up the nerve to go over to Masuda. See, I'd already run into him, like I said, but I wanted to, like, I had been practicing my Japanese because I was hoping I could, like, talk to him a little bit because, well, he's like my idol, basically. So, I got over there, I bowed, I introduced myself. You probably didn't really hear what I was saying because it was a little bit loud. And then I sort of choked out, "Can we take a picture together? Would it be okay for us to take a picture together?" in Japanese. It's one of the few things I practiced before going, and he understood, and my phone camera's terrible, so I didn't get a great one, and we had to take a lot of tries because they kept coming out blurry, but this is the picture that I ended up with, and even though I don't look happy, I really, really was. I mean, he was holding a peace sign, so I thought I would too, but my hand was like shaking so bad I could hardly hold it still, because I was just so nervous, but I was so happy. And after we finished taking our picture, I bowed to him, I bowed to the lady who took our picture and said thank you in Japanese, and he laughed, and then I scurried away. And oh my gosh, I was so nervous, but he's such a nice guy, he really is. He loves interacting with Pokemon fans, and even if his security team doesn't necessarily want him to do it, he's very eager to talk to fans, and I think that's just great. So it's always nice when you meet someone you really look up to and they're a lovely person. So after that, I met and chatted with a bunch of my friends who I'd never met before, and I was really happy to finally meet them. And then I went with one of my friends and we got lunch / breakfast because I hadn't eaten yet. And when we came back, we hopped in line for Pokken. They had the arcade machine set up on the other side of the room, and I got to chat and make friends with a few Pokemon fans, so that was fun. And I finally got to get up there and play it, and it was really fun. It's a very pretty game. There's a lot of detail to the stages and to the Pokemon, and I don't know how it's going to look on the Wii U necessarily, but on the arcade machine it's beautiful. And I played as Suicune. My opponent picked Blaziken, and the first round I won just because he didn't figure out his buttons yet, but I lost the following 2 matches because he figured them out. I'm not very good at fighting games, especially on arcade machines. I tend to just kind of instinctively mash buttons, and well, it doesn't work out too well when you're playing against somebody who knows what they're doing. So I didn't win. I don't actually think I'll ever get very good at it because I'm just not really into fighting games, but it is a very pretty game. There's a lot of depth to it. If you've ever played like an arcade fighting game, you know that it's not quite like Smash Bros. Where you can just pick up and play it. You do kind of need to learn it and get good at it to really get the most out of it. So it'll be exciting when it comes to console and people can really get a lot of practice in. But the roster on the arcade machine was pretty small. There weren't that many to pick from, but probably when it comes out on Wii U there will be a lot more. After we got some Pokken in, we went back and we watched one of the matches, and it was pretty exciting to see people using Smeargle because aside from Smeargle, most of the teams were pretty much all the same this year, and Smeargle was really fun and unpredictable, and we got to see some cool like heart swap strategies, and them using legendary exclusive moves and all kinds of crazy things that nobody was prepared for. So Smeargle was a really fun wild card this year. I mostly watched VGC matches because unfortunately I don't know that much about the TCG. It's a little hard for me to follow just because I don't know it that well. I mean, I know how to play the basic card game, but in competitive TCG I know absolutely nothing. So it wasn't really, and also they tended to do the TCG matches like later in the day when I was up doing other things, so I didn't get to watch too much of that, but I did keep up with the VGC when I could. I mean, I kind of expected there to be a lot less to do there besides watch the matches, but it turns out there's a lot of stuff to do. So I was running around most of day one. I only got to watch one match, but after that I got word that the store, I suppose I should preface this by saying previous years at Worlds, the store was very small and they tended to sell out of supplies like the first day, like the first morning, and a lot of people had to miss the opening ceremonies last year because they were waiting in line to buy like exclusive Worlds things, and that sucked. But this year the store was huge and they didn't run out of stock. Like even on the very last day they had a ton of stuff. They basically set up a whole Pokemon Center store right there in the convention center, and they had stuff from the website, they had exclusive Worlds merchandise, and that was really cool. And so I went down there and I got myself one of the Patriot Pikachu plushes. My friend had already waited in line to get me one to send home to a friend because we were anticipating the store selling out, but they didn't, so I paid her back for that later. But so I got myself a Pikachu plush, I got a t-shirt for Kyogre, I got a Blaziken, a Mega Blaziken plush for Jimmy because my friend Jimmy couldn't make it again this year, and it's usually just me and him that can't go every year, but this year I went and he didn't again, so I thought I would be really sad for him if he felt really left out. So I got him a Blaziken plush, and I made it my mission to make sure Masuda signed it before we left, and stay tuned. The store was really cool. I kind of regret not buying more things actually, because now if I want like that Pikachu mug I have to go back and order it online, and the online store does sell out sometimes, so. But it was cool getting to actually shop inside a Pokemon Center. Like, that's not anything I've ever gotten to do before because only Pokemon Centers in the US are in Washington, and there's one at Epcot at Disney World, and there's one in New York in the Nintendo building. So it was a really fun experience to get to shop inside a Pokemon Center. So immediately after my friend and I went back up to the convention after leaving the store, we see one of the giant Pikachus in the costumes. Like, if you've ever been on Twitter or Tumblr and seen GIFs of those mascot costume Pikachus dancing, they had one of them there. It was dancing, but it was also posing for pictures, so I waited in line for a picture with it, and I went up to it and I was like, "You're so cute!" and it went like this. So that was really cute. I mean, I feel bad for it because in the picture that I got with it, my hair is completely covering its eye, so I blinded it a little bit, but I was really thrilled to get to take a picture with one in person. Eventually it was time for dinner, so I met up with some of my friends and we got dinner, and then we all went our separate ways for the night, and it was time for day 2. So on day 2, very first thing I do is sleep in because I hadn't gotten enough sleep. So I did miss quite a few matches early in the morning, but to be fair, it was also a different time zone for me, so I was just like, my body had no idea where it was. It hadn't gotten any sleep. It was in a different time zone. It was all a mess. So I didn't get to do an awful lot on day 2. I did end up going to lunch with the Witzes, which I got a little bit of footage of.
Vlogs on vlogs.
Sneak peek at the next Witz live.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, are you gonna get this out before? Oh boy. You have to race.
I'm probably not. I don't know when I'm gonna edit this.
Oh man, I had a thing I wanted to talk about and it never came to me. I'm sorry guys. No, not a long time ago.
Josh's brains are fried because he's been working and not sleeping.
See, sleep is for the weak, and it creates the weak
really
as well.
Good. I think you would like that.
Okay, I'm gonna stop vlogging and eat my food now. after we went to lunch, I went back upstairs, and then it was time to leave for the Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions Symphony rehearsals. I was so excited because I'd never gotten to see the symphony before, and we got to go to rehearsals and get to see them practicing, and Masuda was sitting a few rows ahead of us, so I handed off the Blaziken that I wanted to get signed for Jimmy to my friend Robert, who handed it off to the director of the Pokemon Symphony. So meanwhile, I was watching the rehearsals, and oh my goodness, so this was, like, the rehearsals was basically the whole show. Like, I got to see the show before the show, but it's a totally different experience when you see it with an audience. So when it was just the rehearsals, it was kind of like I was just really taking in the music, and I think probably my favorite song was actually the Pokemon theme song. As funny as that sounds, like I was able to like keep my cool and not get choked up for even all the Gen 3 stuff and the Gen 5 stuff, which I thought would destroy me. But the Pokemon theme song got me, I think, just because it was sort of like I could think back to listening to this as a really young kid, and now I'm here and I got to meet Junichi Masuda, and there's so much that has changed in my life because of Pokemon, and I even got to interview the guy who originally sang this song, and it was just like a very emotional, like my life flashed before my eyes while I was listening to it at rehearsals, and I got pretty, I almost cried. I would have probably cried if I wasn't wearing makeup, but I can keep my cool if I'm wearing makeup. And then the cool thing happened, which was that Glitch X City got to conduct the overture rehearsals. This happened though, the producer, Jaren, came running back down the aisle with the signed plush to give to Jimmy, which I've already mailed off to him. It was a team effort, but we got Junichi Masuda to sign a plush for him, which I'm very happy about. Then during the actual symphony, I didn't get any footage of this because I just kind of wanted to experience it and not experience it through the lens of a camera. It was really different seeing it with an actual audience because they would cheer for the cool, like for all the cool moments and for their favorite games and their favorite songs, and it was just really fun to have the energy of the crowd. When it came time to do the theme song once again, I didn't choke up this time because we were all singing along to it so hard. I got too into it and I wasn't thinking. Then there was a really special moment where Junichi Masuda came out and he conducted Kiseki, which is the ending song to X and Y. It actually has lyrics and they're different in every language. And I think at the time I was just kind of so enamored with having Masuda there conducting that I didn't really think about it, but it was just kind of cool because the lyrics go like, in this one short life we've managed to meet, and I feel like that was very true, and it sort of mirrored the feelings I was thinking about during the Pokemon theme songs. Speaking of the Pokemon Symphony, it's coming to Portland very soon, and that's where I'm from if you didn't actually know. If you'd like to come see the symphony in Portland, it's on September 17th at the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall. It'll be the exact same symphony that I was just describing that I saw in Boston, although Masuda probably won't conduct. But it is a really cool experience. There are visuals, there's music, people come and cosplay. There are still a few tickets available, so please act fast if you want to come. You can go to orsymphony.org to buy tickets now. I really hope you come because I'm going to be at that one, so I hope I'll see you there. Actually, a fun little fact, I got to kind of help with the visuals in the symphony because they needed a link cable, and since the producer is based here in Portland, I happened to be local and have an extra link cable that I could lend, so the Gen 2 stuff is partially made possible courtesy of yours truly. It's probably not that big a deal, but I think it's kind of a neat thing. I feel like I helped. So, I was at the symphony with quite a few of my friends. I got a little vlog footage of us. So, Emil, what did you think of the symphony?
I dig it. You have a good shot of my nostrils right now with how close you're standing, though. But
my camera is like super like low resolution, so I can't see like anything.
All right, absolutely loved it. I think it was better than last year.
Really?
Yeah, I think you got the better show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Masuda.
Yeah.
I didn't get any footage of it, but I'm sure there are pictures.
Yeah,
he had a Pikachu tail attached to his jeans.
Yes, I was so reluctant to like do any recording or anything. I didn't want to like.
I know. I didn't feel like recording the actual symphony because I knew so like everyone in front of me was.
That build up during Friends Fights and Finales with like the gym leader theme.
Oh my gosh! I thought like I was going to explode from the bass.
I'm pretty sure Devin and I were like shaking the floor because we were just going like that to the beat of the music together and just like our combined force.
That's awesome. And I feel bad that I had to say no to so many people. So if you saw me tonight, I'm sorry I couldn't get a photo with you.
If I was running off like around the intermission, it was just because they were like starting and I had to get back to my seat or it was going to be really tough.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna.
Oh, hello, Glitch City.
How did you? X. It's official now.
Yeah. Sorry, Glitch X City. But then it was time to go to the after party, so we were just kind of whisked away, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because I had a little too much to drink. Day 2 was pretty much taken up by mostly symphony stuff, so on to day 3. Day 3 was mostly about watching the championship because day 3 is when it's really down to the wire. This year, Japan wrecked everything. They were in the finals of every category, and I think probably the most exciting match was not the one I recorded, but it was the seniors finals, where there was another Smeargle. But I did record quite a bit of the Masters finals, and mostly just because I wanted to record some of the live crowd reactions and give you a feel for the energy in the room, because you don't really get that when you're watching the stream from home. We're about to watch the Masters finals with Marilyn.
Hey, how's it going?
Choga, and a bunch of viewers. And so far Japan is completely dominating. And it's a lot of people that I haven't seen before at Worlds, so I'm not really sure who to root for. Hi!
On the clock, really only, depending on how long these players take, maybe 6 to 7 turns left on this one. He may be staying incredibly calm for being at such a disadvantage right here. We do see the Giga Train, I think they're on Honorable, probably getting a little bit of hit points back and fainting that Landorus. And let's see what we get. It's only a matter of protecting points when it's over. And it is just like
this time that my friend Robert came up to me and told me that he had gotten Masuda to sign my Symphonic Evolutions poster, which like just made my whole life, because I was thinking that I would go home without having him sign anything because I was too chicken to ask when I saw him. But he signed it, and he let my friend Rob through his whole security line, to their chagrin. But it was so nice of him, and I'm just so happy because it's on my wall right now. It's all framed, and I'm just so happy. So I had this poster the whole time I was sitting and watching the finals at Worlds, and they were just coming one after another, and they were ahead of schedule, so I thought I'd race back to my hotel room, drop off my poster, and come back for the closing ceremonies. But they like just dove right into the closing ceremonies while I was still in my hotel room, so I came back and I missed like half of it. And most of my footage of it is me trying to get to the other side of the room where my friend was saving me a seat. But at least at the closing ceremonies, pretty much all they announced were the winners, which I already knew because I watched them win, and that next year the Worlds will be held in San Francisco, which I'm excited about because that's a lot closer for me than Boston. I am really excited that this year, I think both the juniors winners for the TCG and the VGC were girls. I could be wrong. I mean, I hate to be making a judgment just based on appearance for the TCG winner, but I think Rowan is a girl's name. But I know for sure that the winner for the VGC was a girl, so girls represent. So then it was kind of time to say goodbye, and as I was talking to some viewers, one of them came up and showed me on their phone that there had been a, well, you probably already know by now that they stopped a mass shooting at Worlds, supposedly. I mean, that's what they were, the men that they arrested were planning to do. And that kind of rattled me because all I saw was the headline and I didn't know what was going on, so I kind of just bolted out of there. So I didn't really get to appreciate, because all the staff was out there and they were giving everybody high fives as they were leaving the arena, and it was really cool, but I was a little bit panicked at that point because I didn't know what was going on. So I got out of there and I looked it up on my phone, and after that I went to dinner with a couple of my friends, and they told me more about it, that the men that were arrested were previous TCG players, and that, you know, they were caught before they even got inside the arena, so I was never in any danger. And I mean, I didn't even know about it until Worlds was over, for one thing, and there was a ton of security there, meticulous bag checks. I really doubt that even if Pokemon did not know about the attack beforehand, which they did, that they would have gotten inside. So I feel like I was totally safe at all times, and that the news reports I saw at the airport the next day kind of made it sound a lot worse than it really was, because I don't think anyone was unsafe at any time during Worlds. But it is a little bit scary to think that I could have not come back from Boston, but I don't want to let that overshadow the wonderful weekend I had, because that was like the best weekend of my life, and I really do feel that we were all completely safe at all times. So I don't want that to be the one thing that everybody remembers from this year's World. So I know it seems to be a popular topic for discussion whenever Worlds comes up, but I do want to stress that everybody who attended was completely safe. There was a ton of security. They would not have got inside with any weapons, because all of the entrances had really tough bag checks and a lot of security. And I do want to thank Boston Police and the Pokemon Company for doing what they had to keep everybody safe. Thank you for watching. If you can make it to Worlds next year, please do. It's so much fun. Congrats to all the winners and to everybody who competed. Just by competing, you already did way more than I did, so I really respect everybody who goes in and does their best. Please come to the Symphony in Portland. I'll be there. Come say hi, come listen to amazing music and watching awesome visuals and hanging out with fellow Pokemon fans. Thanks for watching. If you want to see my video from last week, which was a top 10, you can click down there. Or if you want to see my previous video, which was a beta secrets, you can click over there. As always, don't forget to click over there to subscribe for more Pokemon videos every week. See ya!